Hi, I'm Irmak Sirer. I'm a partner and data scientist at Datascope Analytics, a data science firm in Chicago, and I teach the Metis Data Science Bootcamp. There's a tweet running around saying a data scientist is a statistician that lives in San Francisco. Um, but of course, what a data scientist is basically a person that uses the scientific method that has been used on a lot of scientific data and nature on data from businesses. Science had been dealing with data for a long time now, so basically now we as data scientists are applying all these scientific methods to business data to help people make decisions. Companies have a lot of data and they know that it's valuable, but in a lot of cases they are not sure how to extract that data or exactly what to ask that the data can be useful in explaining. So in my experience, usually the data science process goes something like this. We start with an initial idea of a question. We know generally what we want to learn or which decisions we want to make, which are tough. And a data science team starts at that point and keeps iteratively designing and brainstorming and trying to figure out which questions can we answer that would be very helpful to the business. On a day-to-day basis, data scientists basically either do brainstorming, trying to figure out questions and answers, or programming using some packages to do statistical analysis, or they are designing visualizations. I think, first of all, curiosity. You need to be curious. You need to be creative because you need to be able to attack a problem from a lot of different sides. And you need to be able to imagine and phrase questions in many different ways to basically figure out the right question. And of course, you need to have a good foundation of both statistics and programming. So when we designed the bootcamp, we designed it in a way where our students would go through the entire phase of a data science project again and again. We think of a data science project as having different dimensions. There is the domain of where the problem is coming from, which type of industry, which type of problem. There is the design part where you are trying to find the correct question and keep iteratively thinking with client feedback. There are algorithms, basically how you want to analyze the data to solve the problems you're trying to solve. There are tools, which is basically which packages do you want to use, how do you want to execute the algorithms. There is the data part of it, how do I interact with data, where do I get data that I need, how can I find the important information within the data that I need. And then finally there's the communication part, where you need to be able to visualize everything and get across what you learned. These are the dimensions of data science projects, and we try to get the students go through each of them, and the properties of a data scientist, of a good data scientist that I mentioned, sort of have to shine in all these different dimensions. So in the design part, your curiosity and your creativity needs to come up. In algorithms, your statistics needs to shine. In the tools, when you're trying to execute all of that, your programming skills need to come through to make it all happen. So that way, we try to utilize all these properties of a good data scientist in our students by giving them lots of experience. We thought long and hard about how we learned the best, and it was definitely through hands-on experience. So when designing the bootcamp, we focused less on lectures where for hours students are listening and learning things from an instructor telling them, and more towards actually hands-on experience. Let's start doing a project. You are hired day one, you're a data scientist, you now need to finish this project. Our model for teaching data science was go through 5 different projects throughout the 3-month bootcamp, one after another. This is like an actual job experience of data science. You need to finish this. And we will both provide in forms of like short lectures, where to start, and as individual, with individual help, us instructors will come to you, see if you get stuck somewhere. We will pair program with you. We will help you, and your teammates, all of the other students in the bootcamp, will also help each other. We thought of students that are really broad in terms of their capacities and strengths and weaknesses. We have some people that are really good at programming and they have some statistics background, but they are not experts. And we have others who have completed PhDs, for example. They've done this statistics, algorithm type of stuff for a long time, but they've written scripts, but they are not very good at debugging or programming. So a lot of the people, just like Lego pieces, will fit to each other, and then people will help each other, and we as instructors help you. And that's how we thought is the best way of teaching someone to be a data scientist. A lot of companies these days are building these data science teams, and just like in our bootcamp where we have people with different strengths and weaknesses, I mentioned some people are better with stats, some people are better with programming, and everybody is working on different aspects of their skills. Just like that, in actual data science teams as well, there are people with different strengths and weaknesses, and they complete each other. In the interview process, what we do is we basically give people a problem that they have probably never faced before, and that they would have to figure out how to solve by just looking around, Googling, reading some documentation. And this is basically kind of like a mini process of what we do in the bootcamp over and over again, where you're given a puzzle, you need to figure it out. So if you think you are capable of that, I think you should definitely apply. And I would urge people to be on the bolder side and actually believe that they can be a data scientist. A lot of people think that it's, I am not a statistics wizard, I can't be a data scientist. But that's not true. Data science is very deep and nobody knows everything. I don't know everything. No other actual data scientist knows everything. So just some exposure in both stats and programming is good enough. There is always a current project that people are working on. So there are 5 projects, and the first one is just 1 week, then 2 weeks, then 3 weeks. Throughout the bootcamp, the experience changes a little bit, because with these projects, at the very beginning, the agency is on us, the instructors, the most. So it is more like we are choosing what the project is going to look like, what we are going to analyze, what type of questions we're answering. As we go forward throughout the bootcamp, more and more of these decisions are made by our students. And they can basically decide which data to use, what to look at, which specific questions to answer. So on a typical day, they would be either working on some challenges that teaches them about the algorithms or statistics or programming packages. And they would be working on their current project, either brainstorming with their teammates on what to do next, or actually using some packages to make progress.